Hello and welcome. This is Donna. I have a new journal to share with you, and there are two inspirations for this. One, I had just recently discovered Tanya from Scribbles in Time, and once in a while YouTube will suggest other videos for you to watch that, and I ended up binge watching all of her videos and really loved her style, was extremely inspired by her. And I reached out to her and asked if it was okay if I did a journal similar to her style. And she was great, and it was encouraging, and it was wonderful. So this style is based off of her journals. And the paper that I used was paper that I made from the Book Art Studios from Liz. And here, I'm just going to show you right now. I'm sorry, her Instagram. And I'll link everything below. But I took a class on a dye technique. And so I ended up making these great papers. And I used them in this book, and I'll share some more papers later, but let's get into this. So this is all like, I'm not sure about this yet, but I like where I was going here. I'm gonna flip this up, and these papers are from the class, and I accidentally used sticker paper. It's a full sheet, not cut up, instead of cardstock that I thought I had. So I've used it, that on the cover and the back cover of this journal. You can see right here. And we'll just get into this. So I made a book within a book, which is what Tanya does. And I have some old books. They were just so old that they are falling apart, and the backs, the covers and the backs were laying there with not too much paper in them. So this is what I did. So most of these pages are things that I have dyed, and coffee dyes and other dyes. Just wonderful marks I've gotten with materials. Some handmade tapes. I'll just flip through this quickly. And I just embellished here with old snippets of lace, and I used this envelope for a little tuck. And you can see all the staining, and just filled it with all of these little things. And there's some of my rust dyed fabrics that I have done some stitching over. I'm really sorry about my nails. Apparently my daughters have run away with my nail polish remover, and I can't find any right now. So, and I made a little tuck here. And these are those beautiful postcard or photos that I received from France with all the beautiful mountain pictures. And I sewed on these and just threw some of the rust dyed fabric over that. Made a little collage, and it just enhances, I think, any of the dyeing that the dye that you're using. Some wonderful old ledger pages, and there's another little tuck. Just fun little things, and then the cover on here. So here we go. And this was bound by using, see, one of my things fell off already. This is bound by, I used seam binding in the signatures. There's 2 signatures. And then I used some of the dyed cotton and brought it over like that and glued it that way. Here we've got some lovely color going on, and some sewn papers to make a little trim work, and there's a rusty nail. And Tanya she really likes to use tabs, and so I was definitely inspired by that. It does give it a little extra dimension and style to it. And here's some coffee that I just dropped on this page while I was making it. And this is a piece of ephemera that Alex sent me. And I had these little rusty bits, so I put those in there. That slide is, oh, it looks like a rainbow. Some dictionary pages, little clip on a French page, and here I sewed some of the rust-dyed fabrics. There's another collage work. I made a little flower out of, it's a real loose weave, thin gauze. And then here you can pull that back there. You could probably hide something in there or write something in there. I've just embellished it. I left all the strings because I really liked them. This was, Alex sent this to me. This was from a Sears and Roebuck catalog. And then here's one of the rusty clips that I just received in a happy mail from Pam. I think they're great. And they look really cool when you flip the page over. Oh, and my husband found a bunch of square nails for me, and so I just wrapped some fabric around that so that, you see how that looks on the other side? It looks really great. Just a little more collage work. Some dried flowers, and here I sewed. It was ripped, so I just sewed it. Look at the fabulous marks. It was a really great class to take. Oh, this is one of those beautiful pictures from France. And colorized, I love it when they do that. And I just did a little bow up here. Here I wanted to be able to utilize this board that was in between the ledger pages. You can see where there's K. Flipped it upside down, put some lace embellishments, and ran some of that polka dot, yeah, not remember what it's called. Yes, dotted Swiss. And to extend the page, I ran this map through here. Here's the center of that signature. You can see how I, instead of using string, I used the seam binding, and then I just had this whole wheel. Probably an old wooden caster. And then on the other side of this, I made a little fold-up collage with a sewing. You can pull it down. And then just extra bits and pieces of that dyed paper. And here I made an X with a little rusty paper clip and a rusty nail. A lot of the papers in here are from the wonderful Happy Mail that I received from Alex from Crafty Goose. So there's that other side of that Sears and Roebuck catalog. There's a beautiful picture. The ski resort in France. Here I just used some twine, and I was playing with the wax seal. Definitely need to get some more colors. I really like the thought of these. More ephemera, and just embellish the top of that beautiful scenery. Let's see, over on here, and then a rusty wooden washer. More tabs on that. Creating all these different wonderful marks and lines and things from the class again. Here on this side, and then that is sewing pattern tissue. That's from that's also from the old ledger. That was automatically rolling up. I just like the way that looks, so I kept it that way. Here I've done more collage and just little extra bits with the seam binding ribbon. Another one of those stars, those metal stars. Piano player paper that I also dyed. There's part of the envelope. with the dotted Swiss, and that was just a little price tag, so I left that on there. Scrabble tile. Another one of those images from that ski trip. Ball pin on there just to throw a little extra oomph there. Once again, we have that with a vintage French page from a book. This was from 1948. And there's one of the Kodak containers that you would get when you got your pictures, and there is a negative with that. And I had this little metal bit that looked like a flower, so I put a button on it with a little tissue paper behind it. This was really fun. I took skewer and I heated it up and I poked a hole in it. I think you'll see more through here, but this is just one side of the paper. And then I found this in my collection of keys, and it's a national bank. But what was fun, it said a department for every need. I thought that was kind of cool. And then this was a buckle. And then I just ran some seam binding through it. And here we are through the center of this signature. And this just has like a copper ring through it. And there I sewed again, and there is a coin. There's the other side. So here we have the sample of the holes again that I used the metal skewer on. I really liked them, and I burnt a big hole in that one, so I took a, you can see through it, you can see onto the other part of that Kodak container, paper container for your, oh yeah, and there's some rusty nails right there. And this was a stamp on a tea bag. And here we have some more negatives in that pocket, and lots of little embellishments with rusted doilies and things like that. And here, oh, this, yep, this was French. And just more embellishments with different lace and buttons. And that was the other side of the body shop. It's an invoice, it looks like. And I made a tab out of a pressed flower. This is Queen Anne's lace, and I put it into a packaging, plastic packaging, and sewed around it. Here we have another one of those French photos. I love the images from the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Isn't that great? I tore this and ran this other lace around it. I wanted to make this edge kind of stand out. And then here is that other half of that tea bag. When you flip it over, it kind of, it followed that curve nicely. I love the marks and the images so much on this paper. There's another one of those dividers, and then there's a photograph that I sewed all the way around. He was in this, so you can see it's kind of holding that picture just on two sides, and he was in that little frame, and so I sewed it that way. I embellished this envelope with the piano player paper, and it has a pocket for more negatives or whatever we want to put in it. And 1936 was when this envelope was mailed. The piano player paper, and these wonderful things I got from my friend Marie from Vintage Vines. She gave me a stack of those. And this had a rip, so I just put some tissue on it and adhered this beautiful image of this creek in the snow, the waterfalls, and that, and then ran some seam binding through this. All these really fun vintage laces. Oops, that's sticking, and it's not supposed to stick, and I just ripped it, but you know what that does? That just enhances it, right? There you go. I will actually, oops, sorry. I'm gonna fix this right on camera here. There we go. I really am so embarrassed about these nails, but I don't really notice people's nails. But now you will because I mentioned it. But I loved how this stuck out of the edge here. And then here is the inside cover. You know, I normally put pockets and things like that in the cover, but I love these papers so much that I really didn't want to, and I really wanted to keep the grunge. So what I'll probably do with this journal is sit with it for a little bit, see if there's anything, excuse me, I really want to change on here, if I want to embellish more, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that. And I need to figure out how to get my piece back on there. This was the top of those ledger papers I was telling you. This was what it was on top of them. So I thought that was really fun. And there's a little secret message in that bottle along with some dandelion seeds. So I'm going to put that right there. And just really quickly, I want to share with you some of these papers. They were really fun. And these are the pieces that ripped off or broke, and then, you know, I can use them in anything. But I got some amazing color, and I tried a variety of papers, anywhere from watercolor papers to cardstock, and like I said, I also ended up with sticker paper, piano roll paper, handmade papers. There's that, deli paper. There's more deli. There's one of those sticker papers. This was fun. That was a piano player paper, and there it is in just the monochromatics, which I loved. And then this is pattern tissue. More of that. Lots of little bits and scraps. What did I want to show you? Oh, ledgers. Ledger papers were fun. Some of the lines remained, some of them didn't. It was just really a lovely, lovely thing to play with and to do. Let's see. Oh, and I did use a piece of Braille that Pam sent me. So this is kind of what happens with giant pieces of watercolor paper. And yeah, if you're interested, it's called Dyed, D-Y-E-D, and Gone to Heaven, and that was Book Art Studios. And Liz is in New Zealand, and wonderful artist, very creative person, wonderful bookmaker. So I want to thank those two people again for their wonderful inspiration for me, and thank you for taking the time to watch, and I really appreciate it. You have a great day. Bye.